All right, I'm Wes. This is John. We're here for the postgame. Florida State, Oklahoma, the Cheez It Bowl. Florida State pulls it out 35-32. John, initial reactions?
Thank God it's over, right?
Oh,
Like
man.
that was one of the most stressful games of the season. Like
By
these last
far.
two, I guess we kind of got used to the rocking chair games that kind of the middle of the season after the 4 game kind of death row part of the schedule. We're we're blowing teams out, like shitty teams like Miami and well,
Syracuse, Georgia Tech,
in Miami. Yeah.
in Miami, mainly Miami. Yeah, I was thinking about as we're prepping for this, I was thinking we kind of had the same dialogue coming into those games of we expected a blowout and we got a blowout. And I'll be the first to admit I expected a blowout tonight. Maybe I
Yeah.
was wrongful in thinking that I didn't understand the spread. It opened at 7, and I think it finished at 9.5. And I thought, oh, they're going to cover that easy. Um,
Yeah.
and then looking at there was two guards for Oklahoma that opted out. Gray, the big running back, opted out. I mean, those two guys running all over tonight were freshmen.
Hmm.
Did not expect that.
So, do you think that they were able to have such great success on us on the ground because that is what our defense allowed them to do? Yeah, I feel like we may have been set up, kind of so paranoid about getting beat by Dylan Gabriel and Mims, that we just like we've got 6 dudes in the box, daring them to run the ball, and they just took us up on it, ran the ball 60 times for 270 yards.
I think so.
Yeah,
I it's not like we defended the pass a whole lot better. Um, so um,
yeah,
I really don't know what was the issue defensively because it wasn't really anything different than they had done all year. Oklahoma, that is. I mean, different running backs. I mean, I guess maybe they were daring them a little bit. Hey, you don't have Gray, your 1,000 yard rusher. I mean, Gray was a big part of them probably even being bowl eligible.
yeah,
Um, but man, Stoops hurt us too on some of those little swing passes. We were making him look like an All American.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like the game was a chance for Jared Verse to really make a statement. Playing against some inferior talent, well, supposedly inferior talent. You know, it the the tackles for OU haven't exactly looked great all season, and then they opt out, and we've got their backups in the game, and I was expecting a big game out of Verse, and outside of the last play and maybe a couple plays early on, I feel like he was not all that impactful on the game, and I think honestly that right there is my biggest surprise from the game. I expected a big game out of Verse, and we did not get one.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with these bowl games, especially now with all the opt outs and guys changing schools and all of that. Yeah, I mean, for one, picking bowl games anymore is like shooting blindfolded. I mean, it is because you don't know what you're going to get, and then you can't help but wonder in a situation like that. Was he holding back a little bit? Was he trying not to get hurt?
Yeah,
I,
that's fair.
but there again, I don't know. I don't. I mean, from a fan perspective, if he wasn't holding back, you're kind of like, oh, that's great. Maybe that means he'll get a bad scouting report or not what he wanted, and he'll come back for another year.
I mean, I think the fact that he hasn't already declared it, well, I say he hasn't already declared. I haven't been checking social media in the last hour or so, but the fact that he hasn't declared or hadn't up till now, like the feedback that he's gotten from the NFL probably isn't exactly what he wanted. And I don't know that he did anything in this game to really change that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely I think that was a big hit right there, like you said. On the biggest surprise of the game was Verse not impacting it more. Also, Oklahoma's defense, to me, I mean, I know some people see the final score in 35 points. I mean, we're not talking about, the old days of defense, but defensively, especially the first half, I was not expecting that at all.
Well, I think they really made it, a key part of their game plan was that they're not going to get beat on the ground. And damn it, they were not getting beat on the ground. Like they had keyed in on Trey Benson tonight. He could not get anything going. I was checking the score line. Like, this might have been his lowest output of the season. He had
I think it
13
was.
13 carries for 25 yards, average 1.9 yards per carry. Like, that's terrible.
The last couple games, I don't know if he didn't have at least one rush over 25 yards a game. I mean, he usually had at least one home run play in the last couple games.
And so we were a little slow to get away from the run. And kind of once Jordan got settled in, man, he was dealing. It didn't matter. He's got receivers dropping passes left and right. But he just kept dropping dimes all night. I can really only think of like one errant throw, and it just happened to be. It might have been on the second drive. It was on the second drive where, we went down the field, kicked the field goal, stalled in the red zone, right? And
Right.
then Oklahoma went down and scored a touchdown, and then it was the very next drive. He missed somebody on like a short out pattern, but I don't think it would have gotten a first anyway. So I don't know. This is one of his best games of the year. Like, Travis was dealing tonight.
Well, what was it? 27-38, 418 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns and an interception. But there again, an interception on kind of a jump ball and a fourth down. I mean, yeah, it goes down as an interception, but he probably doesn't throw that ball if it's not fourth down. That one to
I don't even
Johnny.
I don't even think he had a read on that play.
No.
I think he just the play is, this is the route, you make this throw, because if there's any kind of option to that, like, Johnny can just keep running because dude stops to play the first down marker, and he's got no safety help over the top. If Johnny just keeps running, he walks in,
Well,
assuming he catches the ball.
I sent you a picture. I hadn't really gotten to talk with you about this yet, but yeah, it ends up I was sitting at the game next to Lonnie Pryor, and didn't realize who it was at first. He looked a little familiar, and he starts talking to me at halftime, and he says, "What do you think we need to do in the second half?" And before I could say anything, he's like, "We need to just air the ball out to Johnny. That's just what we need to do." He goes, "I don't understand why we're not throwing to him every time, especially when they kept lining him up in man coverage. That 5'10" guy was not going to stop him,
Right.
if he got up in the air."
Yeah.
And we did what was it was in the third quarter, the one where Johnny had a touchdown, drops it.
I don't think it's going to be a
Wide
touchdown,
open.
but it should
You
have
don't
been a
think
catch.
so?
No,
Should have been a catch.
I mean, he's just not that fast. Like, just being honest. Like,
It should have been a big play.
yeah, it should have been a big play, but I don't think it would have been a touchdown.
Now, your thoughts on, because I've already seen, I haven't been on a lot of the social media platforms. A lot of it's just been people, I know that are Oklahoma fans, a lot of people complaining about that Oklahoma touchdown that comes back that would have made it 21-3. What were your thoughts on that one? I thought it was the right call.
I mean, it was kind of ticky-tack because it was on the left tackle, right?
Right.
And the run was up. I mean, it was off. I'm trying to remember. It was like the run was behind the right guard, wasn't it? So it was a little ticky-tack. I don't know. I can see them being upset, but I don't care. I mean, like, you talk about multiple, like the face mask on the Micah Pittman, where they hit Travis with the overthrow, but it's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So and you were at the game. I don't know if you had the luxury of the replay that we got at home, but there was I think it was a second down play where it looks like Jordan Travis overthrows Pittman on a like a little fade route, but it's like the whole time the corner's engaged with Pittman, just straight up grabs his face mask, doesn't let him run by, and
I couldn't see the face mask live, but it was obvious that he was holding him somehow.
yeah,
Um,
and so there were a couple of face masks that just didn't get goal, and so
and there was
I don't know.
a
It,
Miss
it, it
Horse
was
caller on Benson there at the end. You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly. The one where Travis gets drugged down, hurts his ankle,
Yeah.
like was a horse collar tackle, not called. But I mean, dude's a champ. Didn't even matter. We scored on the drive anyways. But like, I don't know how you don't call that. There were multiple times where they're just grabbing the nameplate on our players' jerseys and just pulling them from behind. It doesn't matter. It legitimately doesn't matter.
And
It was a well called game. Hang on one second. I gotta let the dog inside.
yeah, yeah.
I can still hear you.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, that was huge. It's pretty crazy to. I'm just looking at the comments here.
Oh,
Mike
we got
Myers
comments.
said, yeah. What's up, fellas? Go Knowles, 10-3. Now I'm not sure what Mark is referring to. 418 yards is because the Sooners play. I don't know if
I'm assuming that's going to be a some kind of comment to the detriment of the Big 12, which I mean, I'm here for. Big
yeah.
12 does not play defense, and
Look at that
honestly,
last comment.
I was very, very surprised at how well Oklahoma played us defensively in the first half. And I don't know if it was just, we missed so many opportunities on fourth down, or just the stubbornness to not go away from the run for as long as we did. But there's a big part of that game where I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull this out, because like I didn't have a whole lot of faith in the defense, and I think obviously it's like the last couple of games they've shown we have some big time deficiencies in either talent or coaching or both, and we've got to get that fixed. And I don't know I don't know exactly how Mike's going to plan about going about that, but as Mike Myrick says here in the chat, hashtag Mike got us. Hell yeah, he does.
Yes, he does. I like the
He'll get
comment
it
too
fixed.
about the huh?
He'll get it fixed.
Oh yeah.
He'll do whatever we got to do. He'll get it fixed.
I like the comment too about the Vietnam flashbacks of the horse collar on Rashad Green in the national championship game.
I mean, we won that game too, so like, it was really that big of a missed call. Like the missed calls always hurt worse when you lose the game. I always forget about them when we're winning. It's like, so what was it, the 2015 Clemson game? Was that the chop block game where we got absolutely hosed?
16.
16.
Where Dalvin Cook, yeah.
There you go. Those calls are the ones that stick out in my mind, where we have a legitimate shot to win the game, if not for this egregious call.
He took that to the house, didn't he?
Yes. They called it back. Well, I don't think he took the house, but I think it was down to like the red zone, inside the red zone.
It was a big play.
Yeah.
And I won't dwell on this, but it did come up in chat with Lonnie. Something came up about the Oh, he was saying when he was at Tampa, he played with Mike Glennon, and he's like, he always brought up that 2012 NC State game,
Dude,
and I
we
was
got to
just
quit
about to,
doing this.
I
Like
know, I know, I was just about to say something.
we have like a big win, and we just start talking about all the shit that went wrong and how terrible that loss was that one time. Like, dude, we got 10
We'll flip
wins.
it. We'll flip it. So
We got 10 wins.
this momentum of the 10 wins in the next season, what do you think that does for us?
Well, I mean, you look at what we're bringing back on offense. You know, the first and foremost, Travis is coming back. All right, then we got Benson. We got our entire receiver room, plus um, you've
The two
got
tight ends.
the two tight ends. You got Morlock and I can't want to call him Debo. Uh,
Yeah, me too. The kid from South Carolina.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, what is his
yeah.
name?
But it's like we're going to score 60 points a game, and so it really comes down to like I'm being, you know, obviously being hyperbolic here. I don't think we're actually going to score 60 game, but I'm not concerned about the offense next year. But it really comes down to the defense. It's like that's going to be the ceiling coming into next year. It's like, can we get, you know, the requisite talent and or coaching to get us to the next level? I mean, I given how high powered our offense is going to be, I don't think it needs to be, you know, some gargantuan step forward, whatever. But I don't know if we played um, uh, starting quarterbacks this year. I don't think our defense would be ranked as highly as it was. You know, we were very fortunate to face a lot of teams either, you know, with a severely hampered starter or face their backup.
Yeah, because I mean, right off the top, I'm thinking Miami,
Georgia
Georgia
Tech,
Tech, half of the NC State game,
which we lost, by the way.
right? Um, and obviously had a big, and I mean, I know this is just state the obvious, but obviously had an issue with the mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Gabriel tonight,
and
Richardson, Hartman.
and it's funny. It's like I don't even think of most of those guys. I mean, they're not like, you know, the Malik at Louisville. It's like they're not dynamic runners. It's like they're just like marginally athletic
Yeah,
quarterbacks. You know?
and we definitely had a Malik problem the
Yeah,
third week of
yeah,
the season.
exactly, exactly. And so, you know, looking at, you know, starting the season off against a vastly improved Jaden Daniels is not
Whew.
something I'm super excited about.
Especially after how the defense played tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Um,
And, you know, you can talk about, you know, well, we didn't have Fabian Lovett, whatever. The bottom line is, whether it was personnel or coaching, we were ill equipped for Oklahoma and Florida. And so
but I just said, like
both
you
of
said,
those
we got the
teams,
W.
both of those teams, fortunately, you know, shot themselves in the foot long enough for us to come out with a win. You know, whether it was, you know, AR-15 firing off, you know, 12 straight incompletions in the third quarter to let us get a big enough lead, or, you know, it was the big fumble tonight. Although
Oh man,
that was a hell of a hit by Duke Cooper to force that fumble, and Johnny on the spot. You know, I talk a lot of trash about our defense, but Jamie Robinson, man, was an absolute animal tonight. I think his stat line was something like uh, he had 14 tackles, one sack, two tackles for loss, and a fumble recovery. Like just all over the field. Dude was an absolute stud.
yeah, I
You
forgot
know,
he had that sack. Yeah, his stats. I'm just looking at him. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, outside of the game ender, we had a couple sacks. We had what, like 4 or 5 sacks maybe.
I think so. Yeah, we had 6.
6, not bad.
Yeah, verse had 1.5. Bethune had that other half. Patrick Payton had one. Jamie Robinson, Warner, and Briggs.
Okay.
Briggs is the first half.
Um,
Wasn't
yeah,
it?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I wouldn't have thought 6 off the top of my
I
head.
I I think the verse Bethune one was actually a play made by Derek McClendon where he blew up a screen pass
Oh yeah,
and and uh, Gabriel just had nowhere to go with the ball, and so you had Verse and Bethune there to clean it up. But
so I didn't realize this. Did you realize what the under over for the game was?
65 and a half. Yep.
Oh, 65 and a half. On ESPN. It ended at 67.
That was the
67.
line.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Wow.
don't know how they do that. And I guess with a 10 point, they had Florida State by 10, so I guess they were thinking that was going to be. I don't know. I'm trying to do the math off the top of my head, but a
Well,
little bit more than it was.
a couple of our mutual friends in our in the haters chat, they were in on the over at 65 and a half,
Ooh,
which was the number this morning. I didn't realize it had jumped, and so when when we scored that the tying touchdown, there was much celebration because at that point it was 32-32, so we're at 64. So it's literally
somebody.
impossible. It's literally impossible to not cover, even though you're under the number you already hit.
Right. Well, and it used to, it's funny how in those things, how this new world of overtime has even made it where it used to have been like certain numbers would have been safe, but now anything more than 2 is not safe. But even in
Yeah,
that situation, that would have still been safe. Maybe,
yeah.
maybe the haters are the ones that bumped that up to 67. I'm sure
We got some high rollers in there, you know.
Knitting probably, that was probably a big
Shout
field
out,
goal for them. Yeah.
shout out.
I know I had 6.5 from when it first came out at 7. I bought a half point, but that I didn't care at that point, just wanted to win. But I
Yeah,
didn't have
I,
much worry about that going in.
I stayed off the game. Thank God, because like when I first saw it, I think the opening line we were like 7.5 favorites, and I'm looking at who's opting out and who's playing, and honestly, it's like the fact that Lovett did not play after I thought he was going to play was probably a big that would have been a key player to have in the game.
Hmm.
Like the way that they ran on us, I don't think that happens if you have a healthy Fabian Lovett in the game.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I mean, we saw that this year in games he wasn't in. Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Man,
it's like you look at like the LSU game. How, I know it's easy. Like, well, and I guess it's hard to look at the game one, new scheme, new coach, but they were not able to have the success offensively against us when he was in the game versus that last drive when he wasn't.
exactly. It changed it.
So, yeah, yeah,
Um, Man, so sounds like we're both kind of in the same boat. Is that obviously Jamie Robinson would be defensive player of the game,
for sure,
um,
100%.
and offensively, I mean, I know they gave player of the game to Johnny.
No,
But
no, Jordan Travis. It went to Travis
it did. Okay, so
on
what
the
award did Johnny?
broadcast, anyways.
What award did? Okay, at the stadium we were getting out, but they announced something to Johnny Wilson, and we're interviewing maybe offensive player of the game.
Uh, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he set the receiving record for the bowl game for Florida State,
Okay,
but he. I mean, I don't think you can give him the player of the game.
no, I would have given it to Travis.
yeah, I mean, it's like when you drop like a 45-yard bomb, like it's right in your breadbasket to catch the ball. It's it's really hard to give you the player of the game when I mean honestly, it's really hard to find a poor decision or a poor throw on Travis's part. You really got to be kind of ticky tacky to fault him for any of the offensive struggles. And I guess you can kind of I'm literally wearing the dude's shirt. It's really this is not coming from an unbiased source here.
No, absolutely. We got a new comment from an Oklahoma fan. Um, thinks the refs helped out Florida State big time. I'm trying to remember the play he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. Which play Florida State was clearly short and they got a first down.
Oh, I know he's talking about the Pittman, the tunnel screen. We got a Bama spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I know exactly what he's talking about. Like I thought it was gonna be close. It was gonna depend on the spot, but then they just gave us the first down. And I mean, I'm a simple man. I'm not gonna.
Not gonna, yeah.
I'm not gonna fight him. If they're gonna tell me it's first down, I'm just gonna accept it. But yeah, I mean, especially given our struggles on fourth down, I could see how that would be a frustrating spot for an OU fan. But again, I don't care.
Right. And I will say, I mean, Oklahoma impressed me. I mean, they came out, they were more prepared.
They came
than I
to
thought
play.
They came to
They
play.
came to play. Yeah.
And that was one of the better games their defense have played all year.
Which is, I mean, they still gave up like 600 yards of offense and 35 points.
Yeah, I mean, but
Right?
that's a team that got blanked 41-0 by Texas, a Texas team that's losing 20-10 right now to Washington.
Yeah, but they didn't have Dylan Gabriel for that game. He was out with a concussion.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. That is a big difference.
yeah.
But I'm talking about their defense. 41 points.
I mean, it's like these are not professional players. There's a certain point in the game where if all hope is lost, you're not going to score any points. It's like what is the number that I feel like our offense can put up? And without Dylan Gabriel, it's probably not a very high number. And so once Texas got to 14 points, it's like, well, what are we doing here? The game's pretty much over. I get it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That was the week after getting boat raced by. Was it a week or 2 weeks after they got boat raced by TCU?
it was the next week. So Dylan Gabriel got. I only know about this because I was like this morning while I was my brother-in-law had the OU Texas Tech game up, and that's when I was watching. I'm like, oh wow, Marvin Mims is gonna be a problem. Like if Gabriel has any time to throw the ball, like the two of them are players, and man,
Mm-hmm.
I was very very impressed with Dylan Gabriel tonight. Like
Oh, he looked good.
he looked
I
really
thought he
good.
looked better tonight than he ever did at the UCF.
And it's one of these things where it's like I want to find a fault with our defense. I love being critical of our defense. It's kind of my thing this year. But like there were a lot of things that he did where it's just like that's just a good play. It's like early on that he had a pass, it's a little out route on a third down where we just couldn't get off the field, right? But it's like um, um, Deloach had great coverage, and he got his hand up. He timed it well, but it was just an absolute perfect pass and a great catch. And it's like you just got to tip your cap. You can't do anything about that. The defense was there. they made the play. And I feel like there were so many times tonight, Mims down the sideline. The defense is there. He just made the play.
Heck of a
You
throw.
can't do anything about it.
The extra two. The extra two was all him. He waited.
Exactly. Yes.
Let that develop. I mean, he just he played with a lot of confidence. He looked good. I'm trying to think. He has one more year of eligibility, doesn't he?
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a redshirt junior.
So he's coming back.
Yeah.
They'll probably be pretty good next year. Mims comes back.
I don't know. Maybe they got to they got to fix that defense. Like it's like we talk about like how well they surprised us. Like to give up. The total was 587 yards and 35 points. So it's like if that is playing well, it's like our expectations were like on the ground.
And mine were. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not hiding that. I think I told No You fan yesterday I expected us to win by like 20 points.
But it's like they had really good situational defense. It's like well, at least in like the first half, early second half, where they were holding us to a field goal. They were getting the stops on fourth down. They got the 3 and outs when they needed them, but they couldn't keep it going. It's like the second half. So
Now they're gonna get a Fuller got us hashtag going.
Hey man, like I hope he does. Like I genuinely like Adam Fuller.
I
Like
said, do you think that's Fuller on here?
so it's like this is really hard for me because like I genuinely like this team. I like our coaches. I like the players. It's really hard for me to like be super critical of them. But at the same time, something's got to get fixed here, right? It's
Right.
like we can't give up, 300 yards rushing. What was the total? It's 253 without that. That doesn't include the sacks, though. What was the sack? Do you have sack yardage?
I don't.
Yeah, so it's 253. Let's say it was like 5 yards. So let's say it was like 280 yards rushing, right? You can't have that.
No.
So like
No.
it was absolutely astounding to me. Did you notice their play calling when they were in their hurry up right before halftime? So their first play, they got the ball on like the 15-yard line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So their first play, Josh Farmer gets the sack, right? Where the face mask, 15-yard penalty, right? Do you know how many passes they attempted on that drive?
I don't.
0. They ran the ball 6 times in their 2-minute drill with no timeouts and got a field goal. How does that happen?
It shouldn't. I would have been pretty happy if we had gotten a field goal out of that. At the end of the half, Travis scrambles.
I mean, that was an ambitious attempt, and I'm not going to disparage Fitzgerald, but like
I was thinking maybe that was his range. Up close isn't. Maybe.
I really hope he gets it together in the offseason. I hope he gets right, goes and like, trains and sees his like sports psychologist, like get, I don't know.
No, you're right. I do too. I do too, and I'll give it to him. He bounced back after a horrible start to the season.
And it's like he was a decent kicker last year. I don't know why the special teams, Papuchis, is he the special teams coach still? Like, I don't know why they allow him to change his run up on his kick from he went from 3 steps to 2 steps, and he was absolute garbage. So he goes back to 3 steps, and now he's decent again. I don't know why they ever let him go change what he was doing. But I don't know. If we need new players and coaches, I'm sure Mike is going to do what he needs to do because he wants what we want, right? Like everyone on in this program wants what we want. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to take the next step. And it's all about getting the right players, the right coaches in position for success. And I think Norvell's going to do that.
I agree. I agree. And I guess kind of in wrapping up, we were talking about just a brief overview then of the season. I think, you and I went to the LSU game together, talked about scenarios for the season. Both said we would be thrilled with an 8-win season. Right? And so I think it's easy to go back and nitpick, some of the ones that maybe should have won this year, or some of the ones we won shouldn't have been as close as they were. But the reality is going into this season, saying, hey, we're going to be 10-3. We're tickled pink with that.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you look at the momentum. I'm happy. I definitely am happy.
I think any FSU fan going into the season and you tell them we end up 10-3 with a bowl win over Oklahoma, they're giving Norvell the keys to the city. Like, whatever you want. I don't think anyone was really expecting, I guess like it's a 6-6 Oklahoma team. They're probably not as good as a typical Oklahoma team. And so obviously it's like with this game tonight, they finished with a losing record, right? And so here I am again, like discounting a win that we just got. But I'm I'm just trying to give some perspective here. But I do agree. Great season. 10 wins. First time in like 5 years since 17.
Yeah, Southern Miss. And I think that when you think about it, I mean, I know, like you said, not the same Oklahoma team, but a brand name that has had our number. Don't need to talk about the 2000 championship game. And then, 2010, 2011, it was a little bit closer to 11, but just Oklahoma is a team we've had trouble beating in the past.
Yeah.
And it's good to get that.
I loved seeing all the highlights from those past games. Like the 2000 championship was just great.
Yeah, our 2 points came after them running it out of the back of the end zone on that safety. Yeah, now I will say that the sweet play from that 11 game is EJ gets hurt, Trickett comes in, throws it into triple coverage.
Rashad Green, baby.
Oh, that was a crazy game. But
yeah, I
we
did
had
see
a question.
some post game reaction. I did see some Kenny Shaw. He was talking about revenge is so sweet, which
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you remember. He got fucking like head hunted in that game where he would have had a touchdown, got absolutely destroyed at like the 1 yard line, and it would have been like a 50-yard touchdown. Instead, it was a 15-yard penalty, and he was out for the game. Like I still have animosity about that. Like Kenny Shaw got absolutely robbed of an absolutely stunning play in that game. He got his head taken off at the goal line. Like,
I remember that. I'll have to go back
yeah.
and look at that. We did have a question there. Which assistant coach we can't afford to lose?
I mean, obviously, like the easy answer, there's Atkins, right?
But I was just gonna say.
But I
he'd
mean,
been connected to the Charlotte job at one point, right?
Maybe
Just because of ties.
Yeah, I mean, that's where he came from, right? He was the OC there, yeah, before he came over as the O-line coach. I don't know. Like his stock has done nothing but go up. I don't know. Hashtag Mike got us. Like if he
Well,
does
I mean,
decide to go, like I it's a good thing when you have to worry about losing assistants to promotions, right? Because you hate to sit here and complain about the same guys year in year out. I mean, it's like how long did people complain about Rick Trickett and his subpar O line recruiting, and then finally the wheels fell off, and we don't have the offensive lineman yet. It's
it
like
took a long time to come back from that, and I mean, it's weird to think about our offensive coordinator last year from a 5-7 season is now a Pac-12 head coach.
right. Yeah, it's crazy,
Wow.
but it's good. It's good. So it's like
Yeah.
that's how you get quality candidates coming in. So I don't think any assistant there's going to be like some key man risk. It's like who's calling plays right now? It's Norvell. It's not like Atkins is calling plays. Yeah, he's great at scheming. He's great at coaching up the offensive line. But if we lost him, I feel pretty confident that Norvell and with the investment of our athletic department, we'll be able to find someone that can fill that gap. That's
I
all I'm saying.
agree.
I'm not super worried about losing any assistants. If you talk about losing players, that's different. You know, that there are some players where we don't have a whole lot of depth yet,
No.
or we don't have anyone that's ready to step in and play yet. But
Right. And then we had one other question. This would be more of a you question. Emmanuel, hey Emmanuel, wants to know what our thoughts are on the upcoming recruiting class. He's heard mixed comments and wants to know your thoughts on that.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone is going to look at our high school recruiting class and be terribly excited. Obviously, it's like you've got kind of the studs coming in, where you've got Hakeem Williams is obviously like the big time 5-star receiver. Um,
He just
um,
made his name bigger with the Hunter comment. That
oh yeah, dude, I love that. Like, I love the animosity there. Like, I love the drama, but
that's great.
yeah, you know it's going to be one of these things where high school recruiting, it's all about relationships. You have guys where, I mean, do you remember, was it Kiffin or that was like offering like the seventh or eighth grader scholarships? I mean, it's like these relationships go back so far, and it's like it takes a long time to build that up. And so Norvell's first year was 2020. He did not have an opportunity to even begin developing those relationships because of because of the pandemic, right?
Right.
And then when we did finally play, it's like the product on the field was garbage. He had nothing to sell, right? So there's always going to be this lag, right? Where it's going to take some time to get this recruiting machine off the ground. But you look at what he's done in the portal, and you kind of have to put both of them together, because it's like these are the players that are going to be playing, right? Whether they're out of high school or playing at another university, it's irrelevant. These are the talent that's going to be making up your roster next year.
Right.
And I don't know, the staff is just, it's been one home run after another, out of the portal, and that's what really makes me excited about like Jaheim Bell next year. It's like their ability to find just instant impact players has been astounding. Jermaine Johnson, first round talent. Jared Verse, Jamie Robinson. Um, and we had Johnny Wilson, Micah Pittman, and now we're
Jordan
looking at,
Travis.
well,
I know, a little different.
he wasn't a Norvell transfer.
No,
He was a Taggart transfer, right?
crazy.
Hey,
Because Jimbo hurt him.
Willie did something.
But then set him on the bench.
One thing.
Let's not give him too much credit. He was sitting behind Skeletor, or whatever his name was, Blackman.
Yeah, he was behind Blackman, and then wasn't he also behind the kid
Wisconsin
from
transfer.
Wisconsin kid? Yeah.
The lefty, what was his name?
Don't put me on the spot.
I'm trying to forget him.
I was just talking about him the other day. Doesn't matter. But yeah,
Oh, man.
we don't see. Here we go. We're talking about like good players coming in, and let's talk about Willie. Yeah, let's talk about Willie.
He's Colorado's product,
Is he? Did he?
Yeah.
He took a spot on Dion's staff.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We're not going to go there.
Charles Kelly.
We're not going there. We're definitely not going there. We're not going there.
No. Well, I know you're with family. We're trying to get some.
I think
kids wound down.
They all went to bed.
They all went to bed.
So I'm gonna have one more glass of whiskey, and then I'm gonna call it a night.
Celebrate it. Well, man, I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, dude.
Excited for what next season holds. Hornibrook, this guy got it.
Yes, Alex Hornibrook. Hell yeah! Look at this.
Alex Hornibrook.
This is great. Is this what it's like? Where like you're having a conversation, you can't remember something, and then you just have like a chat. It's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're looking for. I can get used to that. Yeah, can you guys come to work with me?
Well, hopefully next year we'll have a lot of good games to recap. I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but do you have a early prediction for next year? Can we get over the Clemson hump?
God, I hope so. God,
we got to.
If there's one coach I can't stand in Power 5 football other than Deion Sanders, it's Dabo Swinney. Like, God, I just want to beat his ass so bad. I can't stand Dabo. Like, there are very few coaches who are so bad at like the X's and O's of college football, but have so much success than Dabo Swinney. Like, there's credit to be had for running a successful organization. Like, he surrounds himself with people that are strong in areas that he's weak. But I feel like that's just such like a fundamental area to be so weak in.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And yet he has had so much success, it makes me sick. God,
and with guys that, I mean, there again, year one for Venables, 6 and 7. But Venables is one to lean to pick on. And then, I think the Tony Franklin experiment at Virginia is going downhill fast. I mean, Armstrong enters the portal.
Dude, what is going on? Like, the ACC has to be totally up for grabs, because I feel like there's only like a handful of schools that are keeping their starting quarterback, right?
Van Dyke's staying, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
let's see.
Who cares?
Hartman was shocking to me. I thought him and Clausen were close.
Well, it's like, I guess he's trying to prove he's not assistant quarterback. I don't know. I'm just glad he's not going to the Gators. Like, when the early rumor was like, oh, Hartman's going to transfer to UF, I'm like, God, that sucks. But then they got Graham Mertz, and
Alex Hornibrook 2.0. The right-handed Hornibrook.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, talk about a bust. I mean, Mertz is like the modern day, like Jimmy Clausen type of bust.
But Jimmy Clausen was a first-round draft pick, right? Like, Mertz
So
is
was
not
Josh
Mertz.
Rosen.
Mertz wishes he was Rosen or Clausen. Like he's not even he's like Hornibrook. Like
Yeah. Ryan Leaf was a first round draft pick too.
I don't know, but like if like if if my expectations were like, dude, we're gonna get Sam Hartman, we're gonna be good, and then I came and I got like Graham Mertz, it's like, oh, we have Sam Hartman at home.
It's like a kid getting coal in his stocking on Christmas, right? I mean
Oh
that
God,
is
it it sucks.
they might be
It
better off with
sucks.
that kid they played with in the bowl game.
I don't know about that.
No, that was man, what is it with Florida in bowl games the last couple of years? They
I
got
mean,
destroyed by Oklahoma in 20.
couldn't be us. Couldn't be us.
Nope. Nope. Well, man, I enjoyed it. Great season. Good finish to the season. Got that W again. Finished on a what was it? Was a 8-game win streak.
Is that right? No.
Started 4-0. No,
And
six
then we were,
games. 6 games.
there it is. There it is. Yeah. Then we lost 3. Then we won 6. Yeah. Boom. 10-3. Math is easy.
Math is easy. Good season. Going in the right direction. Hashtag Mike got us.
Hashtag Mike got us. Love that shit.
And verdict's out on Fuller, but sticking with him.
For now.
Well, yeah.
And God, I hate doing that. I hate doing that because like it's not even like there's somebody better out there for us, right? It's like the grass is not always greener, and there is something to be said for continuity on a coaching staff. And it's like if the scheme stays the same, we have the same players, we theoretically should be better next year. But damn it, I want to be able to run a zone defense and not feel like somebody's just wide open all game. And that's never us, ever.
No.
It's like we had 1 year with Jeremy Pruitt where we ran just an absolutely unstoppable defense.
Let's bring him back. Minus the off the field issues.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I got a daughter. I don't know.
I do too. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for all the input tonight. Lots of comments. And we'll see you next year. We got 8 months to talk about next year.
All right, dude.
All right. See ya.